The three most powerful things to do if you want to influence and persuade another human being are these in reverse order. In third place, the only piece of jargon I ever use in my life, reciprocity. If somebody does something for you, you have an automatic inbuilt feeling, notion, almost command to do something for them. So, and vice versa. So how does that work in principle? Well, you're trying to persuade somebody else to your point of view. What often happens is you sit down and put your point of view, and the other person puts their point of view, and then there's a pause. And then, because we've all been on communication and influence courses, you put forward your point of view again. This time, though, you do it louder, and the other person does their point of view louder. Here's what you do. After two or three times, sit back in your chair and say, actually, you know what? I can really see your point of view. Or, you know what? I can really understand where you're coming from. Or, if you feel really brave, you know what? You're completely right. You say one of those three phrases and it will trigger reciprocity, and the person you're with will probably, more than likely, unless they're a bully, they're more than likely to say, no, 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 I can see your point of view as well. Reciprocity is the reason why you go into stress on Christmas Eve, if it's the last posting day, and you've cut somebody off your Christmas list because you haven't spoken to them for a year, and suddenly on Christmas Eve, you get the card from the person that you've cut off the list. Oh my God, you race upstairs, you find you've only got really old Christmas cards. You race round to the shop, you get whatever you can. You scribble out a card and you write something really crazy like, look forward to catching up in the new year. Please add, if you do that, that's a lie, by the way. And then you get it in the post and you think, oh, thank goodness for that. That's reciprocity. You do something for someone else, they will automatically want to do something for you. In second place, and this is really powerful, and this is what psychologists never want you to know. So if anyone asks you who told you this, it wasn't me, okay? If you say two things to somebody that are true, and then you say a third thing that may or may not be true, that person will always take it on board as if it's true, providing the first two are natural. So, if you just give me your complete attention right now, as you're watching this, thinking whatever you're thinking, then it may well be that you're just starting to relax and to be calm. That's right. That's very, very good. If any of you are interested, by the way, that's because the conscious mind is actually quite critical. And if you give the conscious mind two things that are obviously true, as you're watching this, true, thinking whatever you're thinking, true, it just switches off. It almost thinks, oh my goodness, I don't have time to analyze. So if you then give it a choice, it will just say, that's true. And that's why that works. And that's basically the whole fundamental of hypnosis. At number one, though, and I'm afraid this is going to cause you absolute agony just for a few seconds, because this is by far the ace of trumps of persuasion. As a human being, you and everyone you know and everyone that you ever want to influence or persuade or bring round to your point of view, as a human being, you hate. You absolutely loathe. You break out into a nervous sweat whenever you hear an unfinished sentence. This is power and influence. You want to get an email returned? Do what I did once in an organization. A CIO called me up. My CEO never talks to me, David. How do I get him to phone me up? So I went in and I said, give me your keyboard. And I'll sign on and give me the keyboard. By the way, that's another good influence technique. Just tell people to do something. They'll often do it. And his CEO, let's say his name was Mike. Dear Mike, there is an article in today's Financial Times that is so critical to us as an organization. It represents such a threat to our very future that I'm not going to mention it in this email. Please call me so we can discuss. Best wishes, Chris. Sent email, 7 seconds later, CEO phones. Chris looks at me in amazement as he's on his way to the CEO's office and says, thank you. And I said, hang on, Chris, you can't go yet. Now we have to find the article. And that's a true story. If you want to get your voicemails returned every time, leave something important unfinished in the voicemail, such as, hi, thanks for the meeting the other day. Thought it was really great. There was just one thing that I'm slightly disturbed about. Or there's just one thing that I really must share to you. It's quite important, so I better not put it in a voicemail. And then just ring off. They'll phone you back within seconds. Leaving unfinished something comes from the world of TV. I don't know if you've ever seen the TV series 24. 24 employed no less than six experts and psychologists during the making of the series, focusing on the last 10 seconds of the program, or the last 15 seconds. And they basically said, what can we put in these 15 seconds that is unfinished? I challenge you this. Go and buy a box set of 24 or rent one and try watching just one episode. You won't manage it. So, in number 3, we have reciprocity. If you do something for somebody, they want to do it for you. At number 2, we have, if you say 2 things that are true and a third thing that may or may not be true, it will always be taken on board as true. And third, just to leave you in agony, we all know what we all hate, and it's an unfinished